Welcome into the BSN Avalanche Weekly Breakdown presented by Bender's Bar and Grill.
This is Jim Armstrong, former sports columnist at the Denver Post. These days, I own Bender's up in Westminster in the Westminster Promenade Ice Center. If you don't think we're the preeminent hockey bar in the metro area, you haven't seen the framed Original Six jerseys above the bar. We have poutine on the menu. That must make us a hockey bar. All kinds of good stuff on the menu. Come on up to Bender's and check us out.
I'm Allie Monroy, and alongside me is BSN Avalanche beat writer Adrian Dater. The Avs head back to Canada this weekend to take on the Winnipeg Jets and the Edmonton Oilers. Dater, Colorado has lost 4 in a row and are now headed into what figures to be a very tough road trip in Winnipeg. We won't use the word panic exactly, but how concerned should fans be about this team right now?
Well, Allie, no panic here. We're still in, November, but it is a concern. The Western Conference of the NHL is no picnic. 5-6 game losing streaks can be fatal to teams. You have to win pretty consistently to stay in that top 8. So, if this thing goes to 5-6, then maybe you can start using the P word a little bit, because it's definitely not going to be a good thing, because they not only do they are losing right now. They've still got some injuries. You're not sure where the goal scoring is going to come from on a day-to-day basis. And they've got some really other tough opponents coming too. Boston, Washington come in next week, defending Stanley Cup champions. No panic, but as Jared Bednar said, he's very concerned about the work ethic of this team. And I haven't heard him say that in over a year. So to me, that's the most concerning thing. For some reason, the Avs team work ethic, so good all of last year, has been slipping a little lately. To me, that's the biggest concern.
Who would you say needs to pick up their game the most heading into this road trip?
Well, I'm going to surprise people maybe with a couple guys. Eric Johnson, to me, is a guy who just hasn't quite been the same Eric Johnson as he was last year. Pre-injuries, of course. He has not scored a goal yet. He is not being the sort of dynamic defensive presence that I think he was much of last year. For some reason, things have just been a little off with him. I don't know if it's because he's still getting used to Sam Girard as a defensive partner. Could be. But he needs to pick it up. Philip Grubauer, assuming he starts Sunday, needs to be better. The guy gave up 7 goals last game. He needs to pick it up. I assume he'll start Sunday in Edmonton. Won't be easy. They're playing Connor McDavid and a very high-scoring team right now in Edmonton. But he needs to be better. He had that one great game in Carolina. Otherwise, his numbers have been kind of average. And really bad in Vancouver. So those two guys, if they can have a good weekend, I think that goes a long way toward them stopping this skid.
Finally, of the several injured players the Avs have right now on their team, who do you think is the closest to returning?
Well, it should be Tyson Jones, Friday night in Winnipeg. He's making the trip. He practiced today in a regular jersey. He said should be good to go, but the doctors need to give the final determination after the morning skate on Friday. And you never quite know, do we, with a concussion. We still have JT Compher out, not skating. Connor Timmins, prized defensive prospect, not skating, hasn't played competitive hockey since March. And you've got Savannah Andrighetto also out with another injury. So, concussions have been a bedeviling presence for this team. But Tyson Jones should be back Friday night. That will, I think, help everything depth-wise. He's got a lot of talent. He hasn't played very, very well before this, but I think he's got a new lease on life. Hopefully it starts Friday night.
Well, that's all we've got for you today. Be sure to catch all of our coverage on bsndenver.com. For Adrian Dater, I'm Allie Monroy, BSN Denver.
If you're a football fan or a hockey fan, you got to check out Bender's off of Highway 36, just off of Church Ranch Boulevard. 32 beers on tap, served in chilled glasses. We're a watch site for Coloradans for Nebraska and Steeler Nation of North Denver. So if you're a Husker fan or a Steeler fan, you're a recent transplant to Denver, come on up to Bender's and check us out.